A very good afternoon to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is the 14th July 2024. So we will be continuing our Dhamma Sharing from this book, the Heart Sutra, as compiled by me in the early years. I think it's 212. So now we are at page 50, lesson 8, but we may have to go back to page 48, part 3, on the review of the compilation of email, understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha. Okay, after this we will go through that. So as usual, we will be having our Puja. So let us compose our mind, develop the faith, Saddha, Virya, then mindfully we shall commence the pre-puja. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 观世音菩萨 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 阿弥陀佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 弥勒佛 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 普贤菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 地藏王菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Namo 佛菩萨 Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivadimi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Adina Dana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Kamesu Miccācara Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Musawada Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Surameraya Majapamadatthana Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, let us pay respect to Rinpoche. Buddhang Puja Me. Dhammang Pujemi, Sanghang Pujemi. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in their entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalisu Atra Gachantu Devata Saddhamang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakamokadang Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Dhamma Sharing Kalo Ayang Badanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Peso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vijacharana Sampanno Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manusanang Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanaiko Pachyatang Veditato Vinohiti Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyayapatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samicipatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yadidang Cattari Purisa Yukani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakkeneyo Anjali Karaneyo Anuttarang Punyang Ketang Lokasati Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. Okay, now we can continue from where we stopped. As explained earlier on, we actually more or less completed lesson 7 of the Heart Sutra class, which is on page 48 and 49. We're supposed to now continue with our email compilation review. So I will go to part 3, page 48. We look at page 48, part 3 of lesson 7. Review on compilation of email. The title is Understanding the Meditation as Taught by the Buddha. So at that time, which was, I think, quite a number of years ago, it could be easily 10 over years, I think, 10 over years. Because our Heart Sutra were completed in 20, we commenced at 2012, but this email compilation was given earlier, if I'm not wrong, it's 2006 or 7 around that time, which is almost 18 years, I think. So this topic, understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha, is very important. Well, at that time, there is this Buddhist group from the States, United States. I think their name is Dhamma Sharing. Dhamma Sharing. It was started off by Reverend. Is an American monk. His name, I cannot remember his name, but he passed away recently. Last time he has another name. He was ordained as Sato, if I'm not wrong. And later on, he was given another name. I think he teaches the 6R. 6R. Anyway, I forgot his name. Maybe after I review that one, I can remember his name. So what I wanted them to understand is they were discussing this topic on meditation. So at that time, I thought it would be quite interesting if I can develop the understanding with them. So that's why I joined that chat group, which is the email group, Dhamma Sharing email group. Then we actually wrote many emails. So all these emails, my Kayamita find it very useful. That's why it end up as a email compilation book. They asked me to put it into a book form so that we can develop the sharing to help others understand all these beautiful sharing and teachings. So one of the things that I wanted to let people understand is understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha. So this meditation as taught by the Buddha is actually very unique. It's not the usual method, technique, and object of meditation that normally end up with thought-based meditation. In fact, the meditation as taught by the Buddha is very straightforward. As per his essential Dhamma teaching, we can pick up a lot of the important pointers that he has given. So to understand his teaching, to understand what he teaches and meditation, we need to summarize all these important Dhammapada verses, which I did. The usual one is Dhammapada verses 1 and 2, the twin verse, related to karma. Then Dhammapada verse 183, the advice of all Buddha. Then after that, we have the Dhammapada verse 21, 22, and 23, which are the Apamadavāga, or verses on heedfulness. So from there, we can develop clear understanding. Then later on, after that only I introduce the teaching, which of course based on the handful of leaf as taught by the Buddha, which is the true significance of understanding the handful of leaf, which the Buddha said, the Four Noble Truths and its three turning. So all this is how it started. So now I will read through. Okay. Now you will understand better. review or compilation of email, understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha. So Brother Teo conducted a review on the compilation of emails, notes, as written by him to various Buddhist group and Dhamma friends in the early years of his sharing, with the title, Understanding the Meditation as Taught by the Buddha, so as to enable the cultivators of the way, or the Buddha Dhamma, to have a better understanding of the key important Dhamma as constantly emphasized by the Buddha. They are the importance of understanding Dhammapada verse 1, verse 2, verse 183, like I explained just now. Then verses 21, 22, 23 on heedfulness, and the final advice of the Buddha before his parinibbana to all the monks means apamadena sampadeta. These verses are classified under the words of wisdom by the Buddha immediately after the content, introduction and acknowledgement section. So now we were never mind, I go through this one first, then we go to the email book. The second part is the importance of understanding the true significance of the Four Noble Truths as expressed by the Buddha as the equivalent to the handful of leaves as emphasized by him at Kosambi in the Simsapa group over 2,500 years ago to the monks. This is to enable them to stay focused in their cultivation. Otherwise, the chance of deviation are very high and probable. Then number 3 is the importance of understanding what is meditation. Instead of asking, teach me how to meditate. If you don't understand what is the meditation as taught by the Buddha, then how can you start? So the question that normal people ask is a wrong question. They normally say, teach me how to meditate. But they are not interested in understanding what is the meditation as taught by the Buddha. If you don't understand that, then how can you start? Then you become gullible. Then you end up following instruction, a series of instruction to do things, believing that by doing all this, you are meditating. Then, without doing all this, you are not meditating. Then they even tell you, you do this particular method of meditation or technique of meditation, then it is vipassana. If you don't do this, you do others, then it becomes samatha. So these were the questions that people cannot comprehend. So a lot of people didn't inquire, didn't find out. That's why they become gullible. And they just want to follow the words. When they go to a meditation session or a class or any of the retreat, they will ask, what type of meditation you teach? You say vipassana, they're very interested. And they are easily affected or influenced by the words and what people tell them. Then they may say, oh, this technique done by a very famous monk whom they believe is an arahant. And because of that, they say, this must be the correct meditation. So all this actually trigger off the result of what our community, Buddhist community, has ended up with. That's why in order to deliver the understanding and make clear all this, I actually wrote some email. Then it was compiled into what we have now. So I will read the fourth one. So what is meditation is explained under email number 2 and 3. Then number 4, the importance of developing the 3 types of corresponding wisdom of Suttamaya Panya, Chintamaya Panya, and Bhavanamaya Panya that will arise via cultivating the three turnings of the Four Noble Truths, means first turning, second turning, and third turning, as taught by the Buddha via his first sermon, the Dhammacakka Pavatana Sutta. That is under email number 4. Then any more? No more. Okay, so we go to the email compilation now. Words of wisdom by the Buddha, like I explained just now. So these are the quote, the Dhammapada verses, extracted from the Dhammapada verses that the Buddha has proclaimed. So under the Buddha's teaching, these Dhammapada verses, there are 423. And the uniqueness of this verse is, these verses are evergreen, never get obsolete or become out of date. There is a uniqueness. So in our modern society, we have been through education and many things. Actually, to come out with one verse that will be evergreen is not easy, because we come to understand a lot of things that people believe is correct or the truth end up discredited by modern science through modern understanding, or they become obsolete over time. It's no longer relevant as people develop more understanding. So all this is the reason why the Buddha's teaching is so unique. So verse 1 and 2, they are twin verses. As I already explained, the Buddha always starts with the mind. He said, our mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. Everything arises from the mind. 一切为心造. This one is very important. If one speak, act and think with a wicked or unwholesome mind, then suffering will follow one, like the wheel that follows the hoof of the cart. So this one is a very important Dhammapada verse. It's like explaining to you what life is. The Buddha said, if you want to have good understanding of life, you must have the understanding of this twin opening verse of his Dhammapada compilation. Verse 1 points towards the deluded people, heedless people. So if you act, speak and think with a wicked mind or an unwholesome mind that has the evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, where they are the root of all evil. So it will make you evil. And because of that, suffering will follow you, like the wheel that follow the hoof of the cart. So all this points towards suffering. If you are heedless, if you don't train your mind to be heedful or ever mindful, to be aware of these evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, and learn to abandon them or prevent them from arising, then cultivating the wholesome, the four right effort, then you will end up following Dhammapada verse 1. We are becoming heedless and suffering will follow you. Then Dhammapada verse 2 is the twin verse, opposite. The Buddha again starts with the same expression. Mind is the forerunner of all things. So here mind, the Buddha calls it mano. Mano means our thinking mind, our mundane mind. And this one is the conditioned arising mind, dependent originating, not intrinsic within our true nature or true mind. So this mano is the main entity that decides whether you suffer or you do not suffer. Because what is important is the content of consciousness inside this mano. So after he said, mind is a forerunner of all things, mind is chief, everything arises from the mind. See? Whatever coming, good and bad, positive and negative, they will be triggered off when you arise the thought or the mundane thinking. So he said, because of that, if one speak, act and think with a wholesome mind, a pure mind, without the evil roots of greed, hatred and delusion, then happiness will follow one, like the shadow that never leaves one. So when you understand these two Dhammapada verses, you put it to test or investigation, and it stand up to investigation. Then what must you do? Very easy, isn't it? We have to make a choice, isn't it? Because we hold the key to our own life destiny. To be happy or unhappy or miserable is entirely our choice. So, knowing these two Dhammapada verses, we should determine to avoid Dhammapada verse 1 and cultivate heedfulness or mindfulness to train ourselves to be heedful, to be diligently cultivating Dhammapada verse 2. Then happiness will follow us like the shadow that never leaves us. So this is how, as a cultivator, we start our cultivation. And this is actually following the advice of the Buddha. So the third verse is advice of the Buddha, or Buddha. The Buddha said, Sabba papasa akaranang kusalesa upasampadang sachitta pariyotapanang etang buddhana sasana. This is the Pali version of verse 183. So sabbe is all, papasa, evil, akaranang, you have to avoid all evil. Then kusalesa means whatever goodness or wholesomeness, cultivate them. Then the last one is chitta. Chitta is mind. Pariyotapanang etang buddhana sasana. You have to purify this mano, this mind, mundane mind. This is the advice of all Buddha. So this one is the key to change your life. If you follow the advice of the Buddha, means you cultivate in accordance with the Dhamma way, following the Dhamma understanding that the Buddha has taught us, then your life will change for the better. Then it will transform you into a virtuous being, a beautiful practitioner of Dhamma. Then you can avoid Dhammapada verse 1 and develop wholesomeness to Dhammapada verse 2. Then purify your mind to develop the wisdom to awaken. That's why Dhammapada verse 1, 2, the twin verse, and the Dhammapada verse 183, the advice of the Buddha, they are very important. Okay, we move on. Then to develop meditation or to train our mind, we need heedfulness. Because these three opening verses of the Appamadavaka or Dhammapada verses, they are most important. So verse 21 say, heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to the dead. The heedful do not die, whereas the heedless are as if dead. So based on this understanding, you must develop the clear understanding not to be heedless. Because here when he said the heedless are as if dead, it means spiritually you don't stand a chance to become an enlightened being. And you are really as if dead, although you may be alive, but heedless. Most of the time lost in thought, and you don't have the spiritual life. And because of that, he said, the heedless are as if dead. Then the heedful do not die means if you determine to train yourself to be mindful, leading to stability and become ever mindful, then use it to meditate, constantly meditative, which is Dhammapada verse 23, then you are destined for enlightenment. So Dhammapada verse 22 is a continuation. The Buddha said, distinctly understand this difference between heedlessness and heedfulness. The wise one will intend on heedfulness. Then when they do that, they rejoice in the rhyme of the Aryas, or the enlightened one. During the time of the Buddha, the Aryas are also called the enlightened ones. So it's also translated as noble ones. They are very noble in all aspects of their life. They are very noble in their understanding of life, in the way they conduct themselves, and in the way they live life. That's why they hold the embodiment of the Noble Eightfold Path. They have right view, leading to right thought, right speech, right action, right communication. Then they have right livelihood. They live their life in accordance. Then they constantly arise for right effort to purify. Then they are ever mindful, constantly meditative. That's why they are called noble ones, very noble in every aspect of their life. For Noble Eightfold Path is without negativity. Then the Buddha continued with Dhammapada verse 23, he said, the constantly meditative, the ever mindful, and steadfast one realize the born-free supreme Nibbana. So this one is what heedfulness is all about. If you can develop the mindfulness or awareness to be very stable until it becomes ever mindful, then use it to cultivate the meditation as taught by the Buddha, then you become Dhammapada verse 23, the constantly meditative and ever mindful. And you hold on to these two practices steadfastly, you will realize the born-free supreme enlightenment Nibbana. So this one also matches with verse 23. Verse 21. The heedful do not die. The heedless are as if dead. So this guarantee of enlightenment, realizing Nibbana, can only come about when you are heedful. Okay? Then the Buddha, before he passed away, the only advice he gave to the monk is, he said, Apamadena sampadeta. Strive on with heedfulness. So this verse, strive on with heedfulness, you must pay attention. That is his last advice to all the monks. If you don't strive on with heedfulness, you don't stand a chance to become enlightened or to have the spiritual life. So here, you don't strive before you have the heedfulness. Strive on with heedfulness. That is the meaning. When you train yourself until you are ever mindful, constantly meditative throughout the day, then you steadfastly strive on with this heedfulness. You will realize the born-free supreme Nibbana. That is the meaning. Okay? So we finish the first section. We go to the second section. So email number 1 is the second session. Here are the year 2006, 22nd August 2006. Dhammasukha at yahoo.com, I remember. This is their website. Then I wrote to them after I think I participated in their web chat. I say greetings to all Dhamma friends, or Kayamita in bracket. I say I'm Teo from Malaysia and am new to your group, but have been following some of your discussions recently and wish to participate in a small way by sharing my little understanding in inverted comma of the Buddha Dhamma. Then I say yes, I fully agree that one should be heedful and focus only on the cultivation, or they like the word practice, so I include here or practice of the Four Noble Truths as advised by the Buddha, where his analogy of the handful of leaves at Kosambi in the Simsapa group, which I quote. So this is what was quoted in the sutta. Once the Buddha was living in Kosambi in the Simsapa group, then gathering a handful of leaves in his hand, the Buddha addressed the bhikkhus or monks. What do you think, monks? Which is greater in quantity? The handful of Simsapa leaves gathered by me, or what is in the forest? Not many, Venerable Sir, are the leaves in the handful gathered by the Blessed One. Many are the leaves in the forest. Then the Buddha replied, even so, monk, many other things that I have fully realized. See, the leaf in the forest, the Buddha has realized, but not declared out to you. Few other things I have declared out to you. And why, monk, have I not declared them? Where he refrained from teaching those teachings. Those were the higher teachings. That's why at that time he only limited to the essential Dhamma, the Four Noble Truths. Then he told the monk, why have I not declared to you? Then the Buddha said, they, monk, are indeed not so useful, not so conducive, are not essential to the holy life of purity. They do not lead to, here the English word disgust is very strong. It is not, it's not really in the sense that they don't like and so. No, it's like maybe dispassion, yes. So do not, I read again, are not essential to the holy life of purity, and they do not lead to dispassion and detachment, to tranquility, to full understanding, to cessation, to enlightenment, and to nibbana. That is why, monk, they are not declared by me. And what is it, monk, that I have declared? So he proclaimed the Four Noble Truths. The Buddha said, this is the Noble Truth of dukkha, which is the first Noble Truth. This I have proclaimed together with the eight reality. Then the second Noble Truth. This is the Noble Truth of the cause of arising of dukkha. This I have declared. Then the third Noble Truth is that this is the Noble Truth of the cessation of dukkha. This have I declared. Then the last one is the Fourth Noble Truth. This is the Fourth Noble Truth of the path that lead to the cessation of all dukkha. That I have declared, which is the Noble Eightfold Path. And why, monk, have I declared this truth? They are indeed useful, conducive, and essential for the holy life of purity. They lead to, actually disgust can leave it out, to dispassion, to detachment, to tranquility, to full understanding, to cessation of form and mind, to enlightenment in the here and the now, and to the realization of nibbana. That is why, monk, they are declared by me. Thus spoke the Buddha. This advice given by the Buddha is so beautiful. So why not we just focus on the handful of leaves, the Four Noble Truths. Noble truth that can make you noble ones or enlightened ones. That truth will dawn upon us, like what the Buddha said under the salutation to Dhamma. That is, the Dhamma is to be realized by the wise, each for themselves. This advice will enable us to avoid discussing irrelevant topic and issue that are more often than not only lead to more doubts. And at times, if we are not mindful enough, it may also cause unnecessary misunderstanding and argument, etc., leading to wrong thought, wrong speech, and wrong action, hence violating all the Noble Eightfold Path path factors. that we cultivate. So why not we just stay focused on the noble truths that can help us in our cultivation of practice and meditation as advised by the Buddha. Then after that we have email number 2. What is meditation? This one, if you have time, you can go and read. Well, at that time, I think the Mahasi tradition was very popular. So this is a question by somebody in the group. He said, having done Mahasi Sayadaw's meditation for a long time, I am trying to get my mind around Anapanasati as taught by the Dhamma Sharing group. He said, I read the book, which I think their teacher, now I remember his name, Vimala Ramsi, Venerable Vimala Ramsi. He wrote that book, which is quite good, an Anapanasati book. Then this particular Dhamma friend said, I read the book, but am still not quite sure as to where the attention is to be placed. So this type of question they arise. I am comfortable with noticing the sensation at the belly area as taught by Mahasi Sayadaw. Means as per Mahasi Sayadaw's instruction. However, perhaps that is too specific, and a more general noticing of the breath and just letting the mind down, calm down, letting the mind down, come down to it might be the instruction. Can anyone comment on what seems to work for them? Then after that I reply. I say, you have asked a very good question, and maybe I can start the ball rolling by sharing my little experience regarding this matter. Guess the best person to answer your question directly is Bhante, which is Vimala Ramsi, the abbot himself. But I will just approach it from a slightly different manner by focusing more on the handful of leaves. Rather than to answer your question directly, and I hope you don't mind. To me, after several years of serious meditative investigation, I come to realize one very important truth or understanding with regards to meditation. That is, we need to understand what is meditation instead of clinging on to meditation techniques or method and the teachers. Their method never defines the meditation. Maybe it can act as an initial aid or skillful means, like a float, to assist us initially to learn how to swim. To really know how to swim, you must let go of the float and believe that your body can float and reach a natural state of balance if you don't try to do anything. That is, let go completely and you will float. Then swimming becomes very natural and easy. So that one is after understanding that our body, because of the air in our lung, is lighter than water. So if you try in the swimming pool or in any water compartment, you just, with faith, with confidence, allow your body to sink. Then when the buoyancy force reaches the what they call weight of your body, where the buoyancy force is greater than the weight of your body, so it will push you up and float you to the surface. So during that time you realize no need to do anything without struggling. Your body stay afloat. So our mind is more or less the same. That is, its natural state is already the meditative state, or in the state of balance, equanimity, or stillness without thought. So just be silent mentally and don't try to do anything. Don't even try to use the word, the thought. which is the mundane mind, to meditate, to disrupt that natural state. Because the thinking mind cannot meditate. But because of avidya or ignorance, the normal human mind has this wrong view to constantly arise the thinking and mental activity or sankhara, leading to the arising of mental consciousness, which is vijnana, that supports the arising of the five aggregate of form and mind, which is namarupa or namarupa. Hence, triggering of the whole chain of dependent origination, leading to dukkha finally. Likewise, when we really know what is meditation, then we will naturally know how to meditate at any place, any time, and under any circumstances. And you will not be constrained or deluded by your attachment to method, technique, or teacher. Basing on the analogy of the handful of leaves by the Buddha, it's pretty obvious that the Noble Eightfold Path itself is a meditation. Because according to the Buddha, he proclaimed under the fourth Noble Truth, the path that leads to the cessation of dukkha or nibbana is the Noble Eightfold Path. That is, any cultivation or practice that can bring about the fulfillment of all these Noble Eightfold Path factors of right view, samadhi, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood or living, and right effort, followed by right sati, which is mindfulness, and right samadhi, which is the collectedness of mind, unwavering mind, born of wisdom, equanimity, with clear awareness within. And this is the real meditation. Then meditation becomes very simple and very straightforward. And when the Buddha said, and what the Buddha said about apamada or heedfulness become very meaningful. That's why we need to maintain the state of apamada or heedfulness. That is starting from heedfulness, which is to be ever mindful of the cultivation. We shall develop the first path factor of right view with regards to the law of karma, Four Noble Truths, the law of dependent origination, and the law of cause and effect. We are the first and second turning of the Four Noble Truths to develop the Suttamaya Panya or Chittamaya Panya, first and second turning wisdom. Once we have these three important right views cultivated, means law of karma, law of mind, and law of truth, then developing the rest of the path factors will become very natural and straightforward. The first right view in regards to law of karma will enable us to be wary of our karma. That is, we will strive on to take care of our karma at all times. To do this, you will have to avoid all evil, do good, and purify your mind, which is the advice of our Buddha. And to avoid all evil and do good, we will have to constantly cultivate the right thought, like metta, compassion, the 37 factors of enlightenment, or the virtue like generosity, contentment, patience, gratitude, humility, etc., which are free of the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. Hence, we will see this rather important path factor of right view leading to right thought. And since our thought has mental intention born of our views, hence wrong view will condition wrong thought. That is, if your view are wrong, your thought will be wrong. And since thoughts, mental intention, condition our speech, action, and the way we live our life, all the subsequent Noble Eightfold Path factor will be wrong too. Now we see the importance of right view or right understanding, and why the Buddha put it as the first path factor within Noble Eightfold Path. This right view is to counter the wrong view, born of avijja, which is ignorance. So now you see how important this right view path factor is, because it will enable you to weaken the first link of avijja, paccaya sankhara. Once avijja is weakened, then your sankhara or mental activity volition, formation, tendency, and mind states, etc., will become less and less. That is, your usual mundane thinking, born of ignorance or self-delusion, will start to slow down. Then only your sati or mindfulness can shine forth to develop the necessary, more refined type of heedfulness or apamada required for further cultivation. Heedfulness at this level, that is, when your daily mindfulness or sati is already quite stable, will enable you to arise the appropriate sati needed for true Dhamma investigation, to develop the insight, knowledges, or wisdom that will enable you to straighten your views or refine your right views. After that, the sati, when supported by the more refined right view, will arise as samasati perfecta. It will become very stable until ever mindful. This samasati, together with the four right effort, will bring about the perfection of the right thought, perfecta, leading to right speech, right action, etc. This is how it has helped me, and I hope it is of use to you all. From my understanding, this path or practice requires a lot of patience, diligence, and faith in the Triple Gem. Yes, I have taken up too much of your time, and thank you for reading. And may the blessing of the Triple Gem be with all beings always. And then you move it up. Then the next email is part 2 of what is meditation. And another, I think another person wrote to me. The email short name is Naga Shrine. He said, I have a little to add to Brother Theo's excellent response, but I will throw in my 2 cents anyway. Anapanasati start, according to her, to move when I stop trying to locate. When she stopped trying to locate means trying to fix on the breath. I was aware of it in a peripheral way, but not interested in where the sensation is. This is correct. Where you are not doing Vedana Nupassana. So don't go and feel anything. Where the Buddha's instruction is Anapanasati. So she is not interested in where the sensation was during this or that session. The key is to understand that the Buddha is not asking one to do anything in meditation. It was a radical departure for me, as I was accustomed to striving of one sort or another, leading to visualization and internal verbalization or dialogue. And I treat it as contemplation. And I measure my assumed success according to the manifestation of my desired result. Jhana is abandonment, not an attainment. She's quite good. The 6 R are a very good indication of how to proceed. Expectations are a hindrance to the natural state. Hope this helps. So that was very good. Then after that I reply. I say, hey, I think must be her name, and all. I say just to share a similar past experience regarding all this meditation question or doubt. I was trapped in the same way like most meditators who always want to know how to meditate, instead of understanding what is meditation. That is, which method or technique or teacher is better. And after deciding on the method or the technique or the teacher to follow, we will go on to ask, where do we fix our attention? And how do we do the noting? And meditation, etc. Not knowing that all these are doubts created by the thought to delude us. And doubts are actually one of the 5 mental hindrances. As mental hindrance will hinder the mind from entering the meditative state, it will be very difficult to develop the meditation effectively if there are this doubt. Instead, one should develop the 5 opposite positive mental or spiritual faculty of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi and Panya to counter this mental hindrance of mine. I also came to realize later that these questions are all not so relevant because they are not the handful of leaves as taught by the Buddha. Hence I started to reverse my questioning or inquiry to focus only on the handful of leaves by inquiring the following. Why did the Buddha summarize all of dukkha as attachment or grasping to the 5 aggregates of form and mind under the first noble truth final summary? Hence realizing the importance of understanding these 5 aggregates of form and mind and how clinging and attachment to them comes to be. Why did the Buddha say via his Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, his first sermon, that not until he himself had understood the 4 noble truths in his 3 turning and 12 modes, he cannot proclaim to have become the Sammasambuddha? And why is the understanding of the 4 noble truths under its 3 turning and 12 modes so important? And how do understanding of the 3 turning and the 4 noble truths can lead to the realization of the 3 types of corresponding wisdom or panya? That is Suttamaya Panya, Chintamaya Panya, and Bhavanamaya Panya. This has helped me a lot, and I hope it can be of similar help to you all. So this one is my short reply to them. But to lead them to the 3 turnings and the 3 turnings of the 4 noble truths and the 12 modes. So here, the 3 turning of the 4 noble truths and the 12 modes, they are all inside this email compilation. So here I continue. I say, yesterday I was listening. Another Kayamita, not Kayamita, another member of the group sent in this reply. He sent to me, he said, hey Teo, yesterday I was listening to one of Bante's talk about metta in daily life, and I cringed as I told the story of how, as he told the story of how he had root canal dental treatment without anesthetic. Reading your post about how the Lord Buddha summed up the first noble truth, saying that Buddha summarized all dukkha as the attachment or grasping to the 5 aggregates of form and mind, I realized just how far away from non-attachment to body I am, and how much closer Bhante is, and how it results in reduction in suffering, though not pain as a mere sensation, of course, even as we get closer, if not all the way yet. What an inspiration to practice or cultivate. Thank you for that. Please, could you tell us what the 3 turning and the 12 modes of the 4 noble truths are? This one, I think I wrote this email, which is very good. I wrote back, I said, thank you for your metta and beautifully worded question. I really rejoice. Understanding of the 4 noble truths under its 3 turning and the 12 modes are extremely important for those who want to realize their enlightenment. Even the then Buddha is not exempted from it, because in his proclamation of the Dhamma addressing the 5 ascetics, the Buddha said, so long as my knowledge and vision of reality regarding this 4 noble truth in its 3 phases or turning and 12 modes were not fully clear to me, I did not proclaim to have realized the incomparable supreme enlightenment in the world. But when my knowledge and vision of reality regarding the 4 noble truths were fully clear to me, then I proclaimed to have won the incomparable supreme enlightenment in this world. So just imagine, even the Buddha to be emphasized so strongly on this way of understanding of the 4 noble truths. The 4 noble truths are noble truths or Aryan truths, because they are truth that can make one noble ones or Aryas or enlightened one, if one cultivate them accordingly. Hence, there is a reason why the Buddha called them noble truth and not just ordinary universal truth. So 3 turnings of the 4 noble truth and its 12 modes. In the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the first sermon of the Buddha turned the 4 noble truths 3 times. Since there are 4 truths, so 4 times 3 is 12, hence the 12 modes. In the first turning, the Buddha just proclaimed the 4 noble truths in their numerical order. So this first turning is just the proclamation of the noble truth by the Buddha. For example, the first noble truth, the Buddha proclaimed, "Now this, O Bhikkhu, is the Aryan truth of dukkha. Birth, old age, sickness, and death are dukkha. To be with people whom we don't like is dukkha. To be separated from loved ones and prized possession is dukkha. Not able to get what one desires is also dukkha. And in short, it is these 5 aggregates of form and mind, which are the aggregates of grasping the upadana khandhas, that I call dukkha," followed by the proclamation of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th noble truth. Then through hearing of this noble truth as proclaimed by the Buddha, a type of wisdom called Suttamaya Panya, or wisdom born of hearing the sutta or discourse of the Buddha, can arise. Just like the case of Venerable Kondanya, one of the 5 ascetics, who became enlightened, a Sotapanna, upon hearing the first sermon of the Buddha. Likewise, with Venerable Sariputta, he just inquired from Venerable Assaji, also one of the 5 ascetics, as to what his teacher has taught him. Venerable Assaji just mentioned 2 very simple verses or truth as taught by the Buddha, and Venerable Sariputta also became a Sotapanna. So this proclamation of the noble truth under the first turning can be very powerful, and for certain person who has a special karmic past, like those of Venerable Kondanya and Venerable Sariputta, enlightenment in the here and the now, we are just through hearing of the noble truth is possible. Then the 2nd turning is very unique and important. Where under the 2nd turning, the 4th noble truth, the 4 of the 4 noble truth, the Buddha put forth different emphasis for all the 4 truths as follows. So, first noble truth, after the first turning, the Buddha under 2nd turning, the Buddha said, this noble truth of dukkha, which is the first noble truth, is to be understood. So the key word here is understanding the first noble truth. Then the 2nd noble truth, the Buddha proclaimed, the cause of arising of dukkha, which is craving, the emphasis is to be abandoned. You have to abandon it. Yeah. So the first noble truth of dukkha is to be understood. 2nd noble truth, cause of arising, which is craving, is to be abandoned. These are the pointer towards cultivation. And how to abandon it, the Buddha had taught the 5 ways. Meditative one is the 3rd and 4th way. Then the 3rd noble truth, which is cessation of dukkha, is to be realized. This one you cannot say you understand. Not enough. You have to realize it. Otherwise you cannot become enlightened. Then the last one, the 4th noble truth, which is the Noble Eightfold Path that will lead to the end of all suffering, is to be cultivated. So this one, different from first Noble Truth. The emphasis is you have to cultivate this Noble Eightfold Path. Otherwise you are not an Arya. You cannot be called an enlightened being or disciple of the Buddha. Because the first Noble Truth, the Noble Truth of dukkha, is to be understood enough. But here, the 4th Noble Truth, Noble Eightfold Path, is to be cultivated. So the emphasis, first Noble Truth, you have to understand what dukkha is. Then the 2nd Noble Truth, cause or arising of dukkha, which is craving, you have to abandon it through the 5 ways. Then the cessation of dukkha is to be realized, means you must develop the meditative understanding, the first turning, 2nd turning, and 3rd turning, until you develop the appropriate wisdom, your insight into phenomena, to realize the three characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Then when you can develop the wisdom to see things as they are and transform, then the cessation of form and mind will come. The realization of nibbana, which is the enlightenment in the here and now, can arise. Then the fourth noble truth, which is cultivation of noble eightfold path, is to be cultivated. That's why this cultivation of noble eightfold path is a full-time cultivation, and is emphasized under the fourth foundation of mindfulness, the fourth foundation of mindfulness. Under the fourth foundation of mindfulness, which is Dhammanupassana, you have the fifth category, which is mindfulness of the Four Noble Truths and its three turning, leading to the 12 modes, and that is emphasized there. Then I will read on. So under this second turning, we need to inquire, why did the Buddha say all this? Why did he say that this noble truth or dukkha is to be understood? And how can we develop the understanding? To do that, we need heedfulness or apamada, to constantly reflect and contemplate on this noble truth, as proclaimed by the Buddha. Through this constant inquiry and contemplation, plus reflection on the noble truth, a second type of wisdom called Chintamaya Panya can arise. That is, after hearing the truth, we need to slowly develop the clear understanding and more refined type of understanding. Via this constant contemplation and reflection on this truth, only then can we stabilize our understanding to develop the Chintamaya Panya. So this one you can also say, after you have heard the first turning, if you have your path, you can be awakened straight away, become an Arya. But if you don't have, the Buddha said, never mind. Develop the second turning. Follow his pointer to reflect and contemplate, like what I inquired. Why did the Buddha say this? How can I develop the cultivation and the understanding of? And then from there, the answer will come. Then after you reflect and contemplate and develop the clarity or understanding, then you can actually stabilize all this understanding and assimilate them into your nature, so that it become a part of you. That one is the stability of the second turning. So after you have contemplated, reflected, then the understanding deepens. Then it becomes more stable, where you have reflected on it, contemplated on it, and developed the inquiry. Then the understanding will unfold. Then as your sati and mindfulness develop to a stability that can enable you to understand better, then suddenly you may awaken or insight into phenomena and realize the three universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So this is how the second turning can be developed. Chintamaya Panya. Then I read on. Please note that when it comes to the second turning of the Four Noble Truths, the emphasis is on cultivation of Noble Eightfold Path instead of just understanding it only, as is with the case of the first Noble Truth. Then similarly, the emphasis on the second turning of the second Noble Truth is to abandon the cause of dukkha, which is craving. And that for the second turning of the third Noble Truth, the emphasis is this cessation of dukkha is to be realized. So this one I have explained. Then the third turning of the fourth Noble Truth is always concerning the realization part or enlightenment, born of the third turning wisdom, bhavana maya panya. Bhavana, or the meditative training or discipline, and they are based on the following, on the follow-up of the second turning. Then after the second turning, the Buddha proclaimed the third turning. The Buddha, under the third turning, he continued. He said, this first noble truth of dukkha has already been understood. Means what? You not only understood what dukkha is and the reality, you understood the cause of the arising of dukkha, the cessation of dukkha, and the path that lead to the cessation of dukkha. So this is the third turning, which is always about enlightenment, awakening. Then similarly, the second noble truth, he said, this cause of arising of dukkha, which is craving or tanha, has already been abandoned or severed. Means what? No more craving. Means no more avijja. That's how enlightenment in the here and now become possible. Then for the third noble truth also same. The Buddha said, he proclaimed under the third turning, he said, you must proclaim the cessation of dukkha has already been realized. Means you have realized enlightenment in the here and now, the unconditioned. So this is how the third turning is always penetrative, leading to awakening. Then the fourth noble truth also same. The Buddha said under the third turning, this path that leads to the cessation of dukkha has already been cultivated. Means you have completed the cultivation. That's why it's again about full enlightenment, total enlightenment. Okay, then I read on. Wisdom that we have developed via both our earlier hearing of the sutta and subsequent reflection and contemplation of this truth, which is second turning wisdom, can then prepare the base for us to receive subsequent truth, born of the third turning of the fourth noble truth, leading to the third type of wisdom called bhavana maya panya, wisdom born of bhavana, or the meditative practice or training or discipline. The meditative practice and training under the third turning will have to cover all the Noble Eightfold Path factor, with particular emphasis on the first path factor of right view or right understanding, supporting the samasati and samavayama practices, leading to the perfection of the remaining path factor. It will encompass all of life. Hence the importance of daily mindfulness and heedfulness to bring about the fulfillment of the satipatthana and the Noble Eightfold Path practices. So all these are clear. The above have helped me a lot in my search for truth, and I hope you may find them beneficial too. So that's how I end it. Oh, there is another email. I just read through this one. He said, hi, Tio. Thank you for your very clear explanation of the three turning and its 12 mode of the Four Noble Truths. I think they show very clearly that it is important to know when to study and think and when to meditate, which in turn show how important it is to be helped by a guided teacher. In my experience, it's very easy to cling on to the first turning because it's so interesting, and not get down to the nitty-gritty of the second turning, where all the fun and hard work is. This is very true, because I think it is only through meditation and developing our mindfulness in daily life that we can truly understand suffering, abandoning craving and realizing cessation. It is only through joyful effort that we can apply the whole Noble Eightfold Path and experience the third turning. In the Katyu or Sakya Tibetan tradition that I used to belong to, I think the equivalent of these three are probably hear, think and meditate, which is a sort of right. But it seems to me that we need meditation to accomplish the second turning, as well as the realization of the third turning. So think would not seem sufficient as a second turning. I could be wrong about this. Most of the teaching in the theoretical tradition seems to be in the Tibetan tradition, but somehow they don't quite add up to the exact same thing. I understand from what you say that some people with ripe karmic potential are able to be completely free by simply hearing of the first turning. Are there some people also who, although not fully ripe, can be free simply through contemplation, that is, in bracket thinking, as opposed to meditating? So they do not need to go through all the meditation involved. I believe in the second turn. I believe in the second turning. There was a question. I wonder if this is why the Tibetan call it simply thinking. Well, those last two paragraphs were nothing but fun conjectures. There I go, getting off track. Time to meditate. Whatever other people can do, I need to do. All of the second turning, I'm sure. But oh, what a lovely distraction. Back on track with a little giggle on how my mind enjoyed that little detour. So much thanks again. So this is what they wrote to me. Then after that, this one is different. This one breath meditation. Okay, you have the time, you go back and read. We have to stop for meditation. Then move it up some. So, some. Go on to the next one. Go on to the next email. This metta and vipassana meditation also for me. You can read yourself. You want to learn them. Then go up until the, I think another one. There's another one. Yes. Okay, go on. You go on. Okay, this one is breath centered, and the four posture. This one is to another group in the United States. Ken Lewis. PK is a Malaysian. He is my Kayamita. He is a civil engineer, my senior, 10 years my senior. So he has a group of friends in Charleston in the United States. Then he wrote this to Ken Lewis. He said, "Dear Ken Lewis, I have asked Brother Theo to share his inside knowledge on the topic that will be discussed at the 2-day workshop in Charleston, United States on Monday 9 October and Tuesday 10 October. Attached, please find his commentaries. You can forward it to the facilitator to be brought up for discussion, or you can even present it at the workshop yourself. Because according to them, the speaker which is supposed to conduct that workshop couldn't make it because of certain unforeseen reason. So PK asked me impromptu, he said, "But can you help?" I said, okay. Then I wrote to him. Then PK said, if there are questions or further clarification needed, you can record and take down such and forward them directly to Brother Theo, who will only be too pleased to answer them. Then he gave him my email. Brother Theo and myself wish that the Dhamma friend attending the workshop will be able to make use of the commentaries and develop a better understanding of the Noble Truth and meditation as taught by the Buddha. So this one I only share the breath-centered meditation and the four posture. So if you are really interested, you can also read through. Well, we don't have time. Okay, I think that's all. Oh, there's another email. This one is to another Buddhist group, Kotak Kemuning Buddhist Center. This one also how to develop the meditative calm and all those things. Okay, I think we end. Okay, we end. Appendix A. So this is the whole Dhamma Cakkappavattana Sutta, the first sermon. You like to know the English translated version, you can read it from this appendix. Here, the four Noble Truth and its 3 turning and 12 mode, the complete sutta, directly translated from the Pali version. They are all there. So you read through, then develop the understanding. Okay, finally we finish the 7 Heart Sutra class lesson. Always remember the 4 support, especially the first 3. Relax body and mind completely. Then maintain awareness. Maintain awareness means don't try to do, don't try to know, just aware, finish, aware, finish. That allows the sati or awareness, nature inside, to stabilize. If you patiently develop it, then the mindfulness become more and more sustained, and it become more and more quiet, more and more peaceful, until the mind become very quiet and very still, until no more sankhara activity. Because all this sankhara activity and movement, they are from your daily life. When your daily life is not in order, when you are not able to be mindful or heedful in the midst of life, you don't have the stability of it. You tend to develop a lot of thinking, a lot of thought, activity and process. Then this habitual thinking or heedless thinking, they will continue to sustain itself. That's why when you try to meditate, unless your spiritual faculties are there, the mental hindrance will be there. You will encounter them. Then all this movement or activity or sankhara are the unfinished movement. There is no order in your mind. Your mind has some form of disorder. So if you are not really mindful and heedful throughout the day, that's why daily mindfulness is very important. You find it very difficult to develop the meditative mind. But if you have developed the training of the 4 support, then it becomes very easy. You just relax, maintain awareness. Then you start to see all this sankhara, the unfinished thinking, or momentum of the unfinished thinking or heedless thinking. They start to slow down, where you don't feed it with any more thought energy through delusion or through curiosity or doubt or whatever. So there is no more mental hindrance. Then it will slow down, slow down, slow down, and finally cease. When you can maintain awareness to realize that slow cessation, or what I should say, cessation of the sankhara thinking activity, not cessation of form and mind, cessation of the thinking, the sankhara activity. That is the most beautiful. When you can witness that, that is the beginning. Means you start to have a glimpse of your true mind, your pure awareness nature without thought. When you can realize that, that is beautiful. Then don't be like excited or curious or what. Then start to create more thought. No, just relax into it. Maintain awareness and allow it to settle down until it becomes very quiet, still. Then your mind will enter sati. That's why you have to go through all this. So relax, maintain awareness, stabilize the awareness. Then for those who can do that already, you develop the 4th support, trust, stay at the heart area. Then allow everything to settle down. Then let the nature develop the meditative movement on its own. Then you will progress and you will develop beautiful understanding. You can slowly, mindfully come out of meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, and inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. These are the meditative mind state that you need to make use of while living life. so that you can be heedful in the midst of life, to stabilize your daily mindfulness. Yeah. Unless you can be mindful in the midst of life, your sati cannot stabilize. You can only do that when your initial wisdom has arisen. Then your mindfulness training has developed to a certain stability. And all this mind state, the inner peace, inner calmness, inner awareness, mind enters sati. During that time, you will become very different. You will progress very fast. Okay, now we will continue your second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have. You can ask me any question regarding the teaching, the Dhamma, or your meditation. Any meditation question that you encounter that you need clarification or understanding, you can ask. Then also, whatever sharing of Dhamma in daily life based on your cultivation, you can also share.
Mitofo Bratio and Mrs. Teo and all Kayamitas. Mitofo. Bratio, today's sharing is very good. Yeah. So some of the things that question and answer from Bratio is also very how you call that, enlightening, or give a lot of clarification to beginners and also meditators,
Dhamma practitioner.
Correct. And also from those letters, right, that Bharatio shared and the answers. One of the thing is they also mentioned having a good teachers is very important. To guide you. I think I can resonate with that because Bharatio is our teacher, right? So with our sharing and with our Kayamita sharing, right, and my own sharing, then Brother Teo was able to guide us to the right path or right understanding, with the right view, right understanding.
The right understanding.
Yes, very important in the sense that
it's the wisdom that free. Once you don't have the right view, right understanding, which is the wisdom power factor, in actual fact, you cannot proceed. As I Noble Eightfold Path, the first power factor is the right understanding or right view. The three important spiritual law, right view regards to law of karma, karma niyama, right view regards to law of mind, Dhamma niyama, and finally, the right view with regards to all the essential truth or Dhammas, the essential Dhamma that the Buddha has taught us. So these three important ones, right view, will actually spin off all the other teaching. Take for example the first right view with regards to law of karma. Because the Buddha understands this, he said, we are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by and we are what we are because of our karma. Then through his meditative training, he realized human beings entangle themselves with karma as well. They are heedless. They don't have mindfulness, awareness, to be aware of the heedless behavior, to be aware of the evil mind, the heedless mind that actually created the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion to condition their suffering, to entangle themselves. That's why from there, he understood. Then he saw the law of karma, how people get into trouble and entangle themselves. Then he came out with the understanding, you reap what you sow. Do good because good, do evil because evil. You plant the seed of evil, you reap the fruit of evil. You plant the seed of wholesome, you reap the fruit of wholesome. Then this whole karmic process It's very complex. Only a Sammasambuddha can understand its intricacy and complexity. That's why he, after that, came out with the understanding to ask the cultivator of the way to follow all the advice of the Buddha. Every Sammasambuddha teach the same advice. All evil must be avoided. Then cultivate whatever wholesomeness. Then purify the mind to develop the important understanding or wisdom to free. Then from there only you can actually develop the progress. Then how do we avoid all evil? That's why he realized breaking the 5 precepts constitute major evil. That's how the teaching started. That's why he said keep the 5 precepts. Then after that, cultivate the ennobler of the 5 precepts. You not only abstain, don't commit all those, but you develop the ennoblers of it, like the first precept. You not only undertake the precept to abstain from killing, causing harm to fellow beings, you develop love, compassion, means the ennobler of it. No more evil intention to kill and harm. No more selfish intention to kill and harm. But you develop pure love, compassion to actually understand the suffering of humanity. That's why that love and compassion is an ennobler of the first precept of killing and causing harm. Then followed by the subsequent second, third, fourth, and fifth precept. That's why from all this, you develop the beautiful understanding of how the Buddha can come out with all this understanding and teach. So all these teachings start with right view. Then after that he go to the second right view, Citta Niyama. He know how we function as a human being, how our mind develop the movement activity. He call it the Paticca Samuppada, the law of dependent origination. Everything starts with avijja, ignorance, he realized. That's why avijja paccaya sankhara, sankhara paccaya vijnanam, vijnanam paccaya namarupa. Then from namarupa, for it to arise, there must be sense basis, salayatana. That's why through mindfulness he saw all this. Then upon contact, salayatana, with the sense data, the sense basis and the sense data and the contact of the conscious mind, it triggers the respective consciousness. And within the content of consciousness, one of the universal is feeling. That's why upon contact, feeling arises. Then from feeling, without the Dhamma understanding, it spin off or condition craving. Then from craving, it can trigger off grasping, then becoming. Then you take birth. That's why the whole of, or the whole mass of suffering after that arises. And this is how you understand how your mind actually functions. How you stir, become angry, become violent, become fearful. How you react to sense experience, creating all the negative emotion, negative thought process, the evil thought process, the intention and all those things. And how from there karmic entanglement come to be. So all this come from the first 2 right view. That's why his emphasis on Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 is that mande mind, mano. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. When mind arises, all things arise. So you pay attention to that mind, develop mindfulness, awareness of it. Then he teaches the 5 ways to overcome unwholesome thought, unwholesome action and speech. So all this, when they fall into place, you develop progress and understanding. Then after that, all the essential Dhamma, they cover the rest of the thing that you need to understand, like the 5 spiritual faculty against the 5 mental hindrance, the 3 errors of greed, hatred, and delusion, and how you should expand on it. Then the Noble Eightfold Path factors, then all the other essential Dhamma, like the Four Noble Truths, the Three Turnings. Then from there, the 7 factors of enlightenment. Then, of course, you have all the other related essential Dhamma that the Buddha teach. So all this come from that right view. So Kama Niyama, Chitta Niyama, followed by Dhamma Niyama. So the whole teaching spin off, and it just come out from the Four Noble Truths. Because there is this Four Noble Truths that explain to us clearly what life is, both the mundane and supramundane aspect. So from this, the whole of life can be understood, the secret of life. So this one can actually spin off the whole thing, and they come from right understanding. To understand this Four Noble Truths, to understand this Four Noble Truths, you have to understand the 3 spiritual laws that governs all of life and existence. That's why all this, they are all related. So what you share is really beautiful, because you can understand how all the questions lead to all the type of answer, and how they rejoice and develop the faith and understanding. Because if nobody explains the teaching, the real teaching, it's very difficult for living being to find the correct path. Like just now you correctly mentioned, you can resonate with what they share or what they come to realize. It's not easy to find a true teacher who can guide you. Like I explained before, the whole of the Dhamma teaching is so complicated when you don't understand. You can go wrong everywhere, actually. What is sati also very seldom understood. So, how to teach? Then the essential Dhamma of the Buddha, the actual Buddha Dhamma, the interpretation of it, a lot they have actually debated. The true understanding of it are not really preserved well, and most of them have come into what we call the contamination of the authenticity of this teaching. Like they debate and teach instead thought-based meditation. The emphasis instead of the essential Dhamma, the essential Dhammapada verses, it has gone into method, technique, and teacher. Then they cling onto the word vipassana, samatha. Then they create division of all the Buddhist teaching, Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Then within each and every sect, so many divisions, as you can see nowadays. So this is really very beautiful, but that is the way things are. The reality is the reality. Human consciousness will evolve in such a manner. That's why over the 2000 over years after Sammasambuddha came out, the first 500 years was still beautiful. The authentic teaching was still there. That's why there were a lot of beautiful progress and happening. But after that, the second 500, the third 500, the fourth 500, now we already passed the fifth 500 years after the Parinibbana of Sakyamuni Buddha. So all this teaching that got passed down during that time, at that time writing was not established, recording was not established. So how they passed down the teaching was through the word of mouth, memory, through chanting, through all the sutta, recitation and all things, and all the proclamation. So it's not easy. And you can never blame anybody for what happened, because that is the process. Even in our modern society, we know you try to pass a message from one person to the next. By the time this message reaches, no need to say 100 people, 10 people, the final message is so different really. You realize that? Unless you write it down, then they read it. then to interpret it, to explain it, is even more difficult to pass it down. So to pass down an understanding is very, very much more difficult than to pass down a knowledge or a statement or a fact. So this is what is happening to the teaching. That's why if you were to understand it from the true perspective of reality or life, then you understand why all these things has become the way it is. So what Po Cheng highlighted and shared just now was very good. Sadhu, Po Cheng. You can continue, Po Cheng.
Thank you, Bratio. Sadhu to Bratio for more detailed explanation. In fact, I benefited a lot from Bratio's guidance, in my meditation sharing, especially.
Yeah.
And then, of course, through Bratio's teaching, right, especially the essential Dhamma, right, it builds the foundation for myself, as a beginner to learn from Bratio on the first turning, second turning, and then. Actually, Bharati, I want to say one thing about these three turnings. First turning, second turning is through really listening to Bharati's the true Dhamma, right? Then second turning
Attentively
is
listen and follow instruction. Don't try to be too smart.
Yes, correct. So from there, right, you have the second turning, the contemplation, reflection.
Then it naturally follow.
Yes, based on your own experiences and other people's experiences. So you gain from
then
that.
you can relate to your true life experience.
Yes, correct.
Then the Dhamma actually come into life. So
Yes,
Dhamma
correct.
become a living Dhamma. There is
Yes,
no more a theory or a knowledge where you learn it and you cannot apply it. Understand?
Yes, correct.
This is
So
applicable in life. That's why
yes,
Dhamma in daily life is a living Dhamma. The word is living Dhamma.
so from there, right, Bharatio, the first turning, you learn, you listen, and
Correct.
you read, so
You
you gain
develop the
the
initial understanding.
understand.
Like you
Correct.
study any subject in school in the early day, maybe it can be science or arts or whatever. Most of these are new thing to the student. So first time you hear it, unless you had learned this before in the past, then or you had the interest, you wouldn't really pick up much on. Most of it you cannot understand, but you find it interesting maybe. Then what you do? You go back. There is a textbook given. Then you try to read the textbook. Then when you read the textbook, if you can understand better, that is the second turning part already. Where after you have heard, then you go back and read where what that teacher teach. If he's a good teacher, he will teach you how to understand the textbook. Understand? Otherwise, the textbook is like the Tipitaka. You think so easy to understand. If nobody explain to you and all those things, where words are subject to interpretation. The explanation, the interpretation can go wrong, and it can deviate, really deviate. So unless you have somebody who understands, even any subject for that matter, like science, where I'm a science student, technical base background. So when it comes to mathematics, physics, chemistry, and even biology, I won't say cultivate, I develop the understanding, means I study with understanding. And when I understand the text very clearly. Initially when you read, most of them cannot understand one, but I pay attention in class. Then I come back. Sometimes I read the text before the school reopen. Then when I have some basic understanding from Form 4 or Form 5, then when I went to Form 6, I read the text, I can understand already. Then all the understanding come. It's just like your foundation is there. The initial understanding of that subject matter is there. It's just like the essential Dhamma. When you have the essential Dhamma, the foundation, which is very important for you to understand the higher teaching, From there, you can build it up. That's why from the Theravada teaching, you can penetrate the Mahayana teaching, not a problem. So all these are similar. So second turning is actually based on a living reality that most people can develop the stability or understanding from reflection, contemplation, and inquiry into what you have learned. Then after that, through Dhamma discussion or even whatever study subject you have a discussion group. When you discuss, you have more idea thrown in. Then you will know how to actually debate, brainstorm, and develop clearer and more stable understanding. That's how people progress. If you study alone, not to say you cannot, but your progress can be a bit slow because you are limited to what you can do being an individual. But when you have other people to actually support you in a discussion group or what, or you have a study group, I realize it help a lot. But in the early days, I remember it's because of my past. Then instead of having a discussion group, I realized the teacher come, the guide come, the book come, and everything come, and everything fall into place when I need them. But in the school, I do have friends who are part of my discussion group, and we actually study together. And I like to join those who did well in the class. I don't know why I end up becoming their good friend. Then we discuss. Then I observe how they study, how they plan their study, or say how they. Then I like to read their answer script when they do well in the class for certain subject. Then I pick up their idea very fast. I know how they do it. Then I learn. That's why Dhamma also say, if you have developed all this understanding, then when you come, you can learn very fast. You pick up things very fast. That's why the guide come, the teacher come, the book come. I know how to screen them, and I know what is the correct one and what is not the correct one. Because the past actually protected my form and mind this life from understand, from debating into the psychic side and all those things. So when it comes to cultivation, we as individuals need to understand that, like the Buddha explained, the law of karma is very complex. That's why you have to avoid all evil. You could purify the mind and establish your cultivation path until you hardly commit any more negativity, karmic negativity. Then from there onward, most of the time you come, you are beautiful, but there are karmic paths that you have to pay back or go through the karmic whatever. So all this will add up to the understanding. That's why the Bodhisattva way is very long, very extensive, for you to understand all this. Then when you realize already, when you are on different path of the cultivation as you progress, you become different, and everyone is different. That's why all this will mold you until you become very, very unique. That's why the Sammasambuddha is very unique, all-knowing. The word is all-knowing, perfect in wisdom and virtue. So all this understanding, when you cultivate with understanding, you develop the progress, then you develop the joy, and what they call clear understanding of what life is, existence is, and cultivation is, and how living beings get themselves entangled and fall into the various woeful state or misery state. Is all in accordance with their karmic becoming or activity. So what we need to develop as clear understanding is initially the cultivation, then the complexity of the cultivation, Then from there, you realize what just Sis Poh Cheng realized. That word mentioned by one of the members of that Dhamma Sharing group. It's important to have a good teacher, a good guide. So you will also come to understand when you meet out with the real one, what he teach and point out to you is so easy to understand and so much clarity that you progress very fast. That after you progress, all this progress are living reality. It's not to say that you progress already, only you know, other people cannot know. No such thing. Anybody who walk this path, develop the realization, understanding, the transformation is, I should say, not to say exactly similar, but the transformation has the unique characteristic of what the Buddha proclaimed under the salutation to the Dhamma. The unique characteristic, Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo, well expounded is the Dhamma by the Buddha. Then this Dhamma uniqueness is what? It is santitiko, can be realized in the here and now. That characteristic is there, uniqueness. There is akaliko, beyond thought, beyond time. There is ehipasiko, can be investigated into, stand up to investigation. There opanaiko, leading inward towards the nature. Then pacetang, can be realized by the voice, each of themselves. So all these are really beautiful, unique characteristics. So the unique characteristic will be there. It will never debate. So that's why we have to check against the unique characteristic, whether our cultivation lead to all these unique characteristics. Is your meditation or teaching taught to you, promised to you after death? That is not santitiko already. Then can you realize it within life, in the here and the now, before you die? Then what you realize, the Dhamma, is it akaliko, beyond thought, beyond time. All this can be proven. Although, like we say, the way to approach the Dhamma understanding is a lot. That's why there are a lot of ways to cultivate, and everyone is different. Everyone approach it in their own unique way. But that when you awaken, you realize the same truth. Like the Buddha said, the Dhamma was there before him. He came to realize it after. So similarly, cultivator of the way, whoever realize and awaken, you realize the same truth that points towards the same thing. That's why when you share, no matter what word you use, to the enlightened one, they listen, they will know whether this one is a genuine one or not. Because you cannot try to use people's word, imitate and act like one. Cannot. You don't have the understanding means you don't have the understanding. This is something pacetang inside with a unique characteristic. So this one can be understood only by the wise, each for themselves. And they will know what this thing is. Beyond thought, beyond word. No need to commit to memory and repeat the words of the enlightened one and all those things. Although in the teaching, you see, I also quote the Buddha's word. I quote is because people need faith, need confidence. If I don't quote, then people will say, who is this guy? Brother, he's not even a monk. He's not even ordained, understand? And he don't have any title, nothing. Then who is he to say this is the way Dhamma is to be understood, this is the teaching and all those things. So that's why what I want to do is I use some of the Buddha's important Dhammapada verses and heading to share so that you understand that this teaching that I teach or I share it matches with what he said. Understand or not? And that is very important so that people can develop the faith and understanding. Although my approach initially, people who don't understand, they will be very confused. Yeah, it appears to be completely contradictory or opposite of what the Buddhist community usually learn, the so-called traditional Dhamma. Yeah. But when you come to develop the understanding after you progress, then you realize this is what the teaching is. Otherwise, it cannot be like that. Then how can it match with J. Krishnamurti sharing? Even those Ekkhati or the present moment awareness, power of now, and other things. Or why people nowadays stress on awareness instead of jhana, instead of concentration, one-pointedness, psychic energy field. So all this, it is up to the individual to develop the understanding. If you don't have the understanding, you will deviate. You will be gullible. You will be attracted to all those type of meditation that can give you power, give you special ability, and all that. But like the Buddha said, the one that free is wisdom, panya vimutti. Panya vimutti is the ultimate liberation. Vimutti is liberation. Panya is wisdom. Of course, there's another word. They say ceto vimutti means through concentration, through samatha cultivation. But ceto, you can start with that, but finally you need wisdom to free. So ultimately, it's only panya vimutti. But it's stated in the commentary that there are two types of liberation, which is not wrong. You can start with ceto, develop the mind, then make it calm, peaceful. Whether it's in jhana or tranquility, is up to you. But during the Buddha's time, the Buddha also went through, he developed all the jhana under the first two teachers, Alara and Uddaka. Then what happened? He knew this is not what he was searching for. Because what he was searching for was the answer towards birth, old age, sickness, and death. It's not all the special meditative state, the formless jhana, 7 and 8 formless jhana. That's why he left them and go on his own. Then under the faithful night, under the Bodhi tree, he connect and realize the full enlightenment. Then he realized this body doesn't belong to him. That's why he got no more problem with birth or sickness and death. Then he realized the whole cultivation is very different. What you need is not the thought. What you need is the awareness within, sati, mindfulness. So all this understanding, when they manifest, they will become very different. That's the reason why when the Buddha became enlightened, I remember, it was in the Dhammapada story. It was mentioned that he was reluctant to teach because he realized what he has realized is so profound and the opposite of what most people do. That's why his first teaching, Dhammacakkappavattana, the first sermon, is an opening statement. Avoid the two extremes. What are the two extremes? Sensual indulgence and self-mortification. Don't do those foolish things. And the deeper meaning of avoiding the two extremes is the duality part. You have to transcend duality to realize the wisdom to free. So all these are very important understanding as you cultivate. Okay, Poh Cheng, you better continue. And thank you for giving the condition to explain all this.
Yeah, right. You're talking about this deeper meaning of transcend duality, right? So the important thing is to stay with the pure awareness. Meaning, if you have the inner awareness, you will be able to transcend duality. Otherwise, you cannot transcend duality as well. So that is the emphasis that Brother Teo has always been talking about to teach us the awareness-based meditation, that allow us
Yeah,
to
without the
see this.
awareness, you cannot be aware. And when you cannot be aware, you don't know what is happening in life. You don't know how you stir your mind, how you get yourself entangled, how the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion arise in you, how the mental hindrance arise in you, then how they cease, and how they continue to arise in the future, or it will never arise anymore in the future. All this can be understood through mindfulness, through awareness. Only the awareness nature can awaken to all this and understand all this. Yes, very true. Yeah, Puja. That's why sati is life, heedfulness. The healers are sati. All this clearly explained by the Buddha. Good.
Yes, that's why Brother Teo, Dhammapada verse 1 and 2 has
Yeah.
always been my guiding light, in a way
Principle
when
in
I
life,
first,
yes.
in the beginning when I first started learning, right? So
Yeah,
when I heard this Dhammapada verse 1 and 2, right?
yeah,
I mean, it gave me a lot of joy,
yeah.
understanding that, because in a way it tells you, sati and, mindfulness is
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very
yeah.
important.
Uh,
And that helps me and give me a lot of confidence in the Buddha's teaching,
yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I want to talk about is about coming back
Ah,
to this turning, right? First turning,
ah,
second
ah,
turning. So
ah.
we talk about that.
Mm.
Then I felt from my personal training through Brother Teo awareness-based
Ah,
meditation,
ah.
right? Once you have 1 and 2, right, the consequence of it is the third turning by itself. It
Yeah.
unfolds
It keep
by
on
itself.
arising after that.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
unfolds
that
by itself.
that is the
So
stability of it. That's why
yes,
I mentioned in the email compilation that after
yes,
you have your first and second turning develop, it set the base for you to receive truth. You remember? Ah.
yes, yes,
Then
yes.
when any of the first or second or third turning they arise, your base is already there. That's why you can actually develop the understanding very fast. That's why I said Dhamma keep on unfolding after you have reached certain progress. Then you realize truth is everywhere in the midst of life and nature. Why can't you see? The one who see, they always see. So all this understanding, it just come by itself. And in fact, quite a number of our Kayamita has progressed to that stage where the Dhamma keep on unfolding. Like Song, Sister Alicia, they all, and even Amy, and many people, even yourself, Poh Cheng. That all these are living proof that the Dhamma can be cultivated with understanding. And when the understanding is there, especially first and second turning wisdom stabilize, then the third turning become very easy, and it will keep on trickling off understanding, especially after you have developed certain penetrative awakening through the second and third turning. Then you become very different. Then when you are heedful most of the time, mindful most of the time, then Dhamma keep on arising because you have the meditative mind to understand, to insight into phenomena, to awaken, and to contemplate, to reflect, uh, and to develop all the clear understanding through the silent inner awareness. So when you silently aware through that silent mind to witness the reality, to see things as they are, then the understanding just arises in you. Oh, no wonder. That's how living beings stir their mind. Well, you saw it in you. That's how the evil roots arise. That's how the mental hindrance arise. That you continue to maintain awareness, you realize that is how it sees. Well, these are all dependent originating state, which are impermanent, not intrinsic to our nature. They arise because of wrong view, wrong thought. Then when you retrospectively reverse all this wrong thought, then the understanding free you. Then you realize you don't need to do anything, just stay with the awareness. The awareness and the phenomena as one. So when anger arises, greed arises, even craving arises, you stay with it. Or fear arises, you stay with it. Then you realize it ceases. And the mind returns to its original state of tranquility, stillness, and inner peace. And this is beautiful mind state. Then you realize all those states of mind or sankhara, mental states, they are not intrinsic in your true mind. They are all mind-made, like the Buddha mentioned, means created by the mind through wrong view, through wrong understanding. That's how you meditate. The awareness can see all this and develop the understanding. Then retrospectively you reverse all this wrong view and straighten your view until you develop the first Noble Eightfold Path Factor right view strongly until it becomes very stable, a part of you. Then most of the time in life, your mind doesn't stir anymore. We have no more avijja, no more delusion. Then you have more peace. Then you are more at peace with life, with nature, with all conditions that manifest within life. Then after that, anywhere, any place, any time, you are always at peace. Nothing can actually delude you or deceive you or cause attachment in you or craving in you. No more. You can understand life, you can live life, but nothing can harm you or hurt you or cause you attachment and craving. You know all this got no reality. Like the Diamond Sutra, 一切有为法，如梦幻泡影，如露亦如电，应作如是观。Yes, everything within the conditioned world are conditioned Dhamma, dependent originating, condition arising, causal phenomena. They are not a reality. That's why 如梦幻泡影 is like a dream, it's dreamlike, it's an illusion. Then it's like a bubble. Pop, gone, pop, gone. Then it's like a shadow that keep on following you through the nature's law. So all this understanding, you will develop understanding. And because of that, they are not real. That's why 如露亦如电, like a morning dew and a lightning flash, it just appear and disappear. Some take longer, like the morning dew. You need the sunrise, that dew slowly dissipate. Then most of the time it's very fast, like a flash, lightning flash. So the lightning flash refer to our mind state, our thought process, our mental intention, our perception, our feeling. They move so fast. That's why without mindfulness, awareness, and understanding, you cannot cope. You cannot cope, and you cannot understand what is going on in life. That's why you need sati, stable, ever mindful, to understand all this. Very good, Poh Cheng. Yeah. You need to summarize a bit, Poh Cheng. You have 3 more minutes.
Yes, very true, Brother Teo. We really need sati because sati is life. It's precisely sum up the understanding. That we must have sati because sati is life. Without that, we cannot cope with life.
Where the senses move very fast. Without sati, you cannot follow. You don't know what is happening. You are
correct.
heedless, completely heedless.
Yes, we are actually very heedless before we learn the Dhamma before we kind of like had the awakening ourselves, But Brother Teo, this teaching that you shared, right? I mean, there's one more part that I want to kind of highlight to kind of understand that this person that sent that says that don't know whether got time or not. 3 minutes.
Got 3 minutes.
Okay. So this person said I heard this before, Brother Teo. I just want to like say this. So this person said root canal dental treatment, right? So
root canal, yes.
You do without anesthetic.
Yes.
Okay, you do without anesthetic, and that proves that you do not have attachment to the body. Okay, that's what she understand that some this Bante didn't have the anesthetic, and then prove that he has no attachment to the body. But Brother Teo, for me, I don't want to go through the suffering, I still will have the, the anesthetic, That's why
that
have root
one is
canal,
your choice, no
huh?
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one sometimes the cultivator they want to prove, but you make sure you can go through it because root canal it involves the nerve, the
Yeah.
numbing of the nerve. And it's better to go on anesthesia. Uh,
Yeah.
I
I think so.
also
Yeah.
did my the dentist who did for me. He was really amazed or marveled at what happened. When I went there, I say I was recommended by my unimate, the dentist, before he do the crown. He said my one the tooth crack already. I need to do the root canal. Otherwise, with the crown also, it may not be safe. Then he said, yeah, I know. He said he called me and send you over, and he asked for early appointment. Somebody actually cannot make it. Then he actually alert my dentist, so I went. So he said, okay. He said, let me check. Then he checked. Then he said, okay, I will do for you. He said it may take about 2 hours. You know what happened? When he was doing the thing, I was like sleeping there, but I was fully aware of what he do. And after he finished, I said, oh, you really great. I said, the whole 2 hour session I do all this. You can just sleep like that, and let me do it. And you are the easiest one that I can do. Means, whatever movement he want, he can just do. Then it's like I was sleeping. But when I look at you, I smile. I said, yeah, you are good. I said, because I just echoed and flow, and everything went out. Like, to me, it was nothing. The whole root canal was so like very easy. Although it lasted 2 hours, sitting on the chair and let him do all those things, but it was nice. So that was the experience. So Poh Cheng, you are right. Don't have to be a hero, understand? Well, last time I also heard of one monk. Uh, if I'm not wrong, is my teacher, Ajahn Yantra's teacher, Ajahn Buddhadasa, when he was alive. It seems I heard, I don't know true or not. When he go for this, what they call operation, he don't want the anesthesia. He go into anapanasati, because his anapanasati very, very powerful, very strong. But this one up to the individual, understand? No need to go through all this. You are right. I fully agree. Because even let's say no anesthesia, we are in a civilization or what, then you have to face it, you have to endure, you have to endure. But we can go through one, not a problem at all. But don't try to be a hero. Even Master Chen Hua learned his lesson. He later on, he said, last time he only 3 layers of the monk's clothing. No matter how cold winter or what, he endure and all that. But later on, he tell people, oh, now I love all these warm clothing. He said, I wear them. He said, why should I suffer? When there is condition for him to have all this, he wear them. So it's the understanding. But when you need to face them, confront them, or test yourself, the test will come and it will show it to you in different way. So you don't have to worry about all these things. But sometimes cultivator different. They feel that they are in the position to try it, then they try it out, which is to me not a problem at all. That's why if they can do it, I also rejoice. This is what cultivation is. When you understand, no problem. But when you want to impress people and show off all the then it's like the Buddha prohibit psychic ability and all those things. But this one is no, I think they are testing what they are able to actually go through. So if they have that faith, the confidence, and they want to try, why not? Because sometimes the root canal, when they numb the thing, it may not necessarily hit your nerve one. Not necessary, because the dentist who do it, if he's very skillful, he can actually plug it on and seal it up nicely. So not an issue at all. So don't worry about all these things. When you develop the understanding, you will know what to do. So, Poh Cheng, to confirm what you say, yeah, you would rather put on the anesthesia. Yes, do that.
Yes, I would do that, Brother Teo, yes. I'm not a hero.
Yeah. So those who
Yeah.
listen, don't be misled. I don't encourage you to do that. No need, understand? If there is medical safety, go for it. Easy. Like I
Yes.
said, unless you have that understanding and you are ready, you want to prove something, then it's different. Otherwise, no need.
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you, Brother Teo.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Sadhu. Very
Sadhu,
beautiful
sadhu,
sharing.
sadhu.
I really
Yeah.
rejoice in your
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
additional sharing today.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, Brother Teo. Sadhu,
Also, I
sadhu,
want
sadhu.
to add this. Last time, remember I told you I have the operation on my fistula, the buttock there. I told you before, that one is very painful one because the pulse and all this. I endure, I tried, I tested it. I know it's terribly painful one. Oh, it has become like inside there, full of pus now, and very painful one on normal people. But I tested it, I endure it. To me, it's a reality. Not until I receive treatment, I cannot do anything. So I take my time slowly to go and make appointment with my classmate who is a doctor. Then he checked. He said, I have to do an IND for you. IND means incision and drain. Then when he cut, actually the blood, pew out. But to me, it was not painful where I can endure. So it's just like that sensation there. But after that, relief, because they build up the tension and all those things, where the vein or the nerve all become very sensitive on whatever, it will trigger off that sensation like pain. But where my mindfulness and when I know, it's moment to moment, moment to moment. So there was no like suffering or misery or no. It just, that body is just a body. It have to go through all this. Then the tactile consciousness, they will come. And you will understand all this. Then after that, he said, I will recommend you a specialist who can give you permanent cure. So I said, good, give me the name. Then I went and see the specialist. Then he checked. Then he said, okay, I will do for you the surgery. That's how I do it. And it's already 18 years already. I think 1996 I did it. 18 years already. It's still very good now. No problem. That's why you need medical. If there is medical ability to help you resolve things, go for it. Your medical advance has actually progressed a lot. Whatever, whether it's the Western medicine or TCM or what, whatever that really can give you the cure, no problem. But make sure you get the right doctor or the right physician to look at all these things. But end of the day, still depend on your karma. If you have the good karma, you will meet the right doctor. Okay, we should end. Thank you so much. Let us rejoice with the sharing. Sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu, sadhu.
sadhu.
Okay, let us share merit. Akasata ca bhumata deva naga mahindika punyang tang anumoditwa cirang rakantu lokasasana itta wata camehi sampadan punya sampadan sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya idang menya tina hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo อิดังเมญญาติดังโหตุสุขิตาหนตุญาตโยเดโววัสสตุกาเลนะสาสสัมปติเหตุเชวิโตภาวะตุโลโกเชราจาภาวะตุธัมมิโกอิมินาปุญญังกาเมนะมาเมบาลาสมากโมสัตตังสมากโมโหตุยาวะนิวานาปาติยาสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then we end. Sadhu.